Your movie, my movie, their movie, our movie. Your movie, my movie, their movie, our movie. Your movie, my movie, their movie, our movie. Yeah!
Hi there. Welcome to Your Movie, My Movie with Dan and Steve.
I'm Dan.
And I'm Steve. This is a podcast where one of us picks a movie to watch and we both discuss it. In this episode, we're talking about one of my picks, the 1986 movie Maximum Overdrive, starring Emilio Estevez, Pat Hingle, Laura Harrington, and Yeardley Smith, and is written and directed by Stephen King with music by AC/DC. We will be talking about spoilers, so if you want to watch the movie first, now's the time to do so. But before we talk about the movie, Dan, who would you recommend this movie for?
I would recommend this movie for... Oh, man. I don't feel like serious adults should watch this movie. But everyone else, yes.
Okay.
I recommend it for people who want to watch a bad movie that's not boring.
Okay.
So, like, if you just want to kill an afternoon and just... I mean, I've said that a billion times, I think, kill an afternoon. But anyways, anyone should watch this movie because it's a masterpiece.
Oh, a masterpiece.
Yes.
I don't think... Have we had masterpieces on this episode? On this show before? No? This is the first masterpiece? This is the first masterpiece.
No, it's not, Steven.
Okay.
This movie is a car wreck. A massive pileup.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that suits the theme of the movie. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
No, but it's incredibly entertaining and almost campy. So if you're interested in watching,
but not on purpose.
I don't know. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Well, I mean, maybe some things are.
Anyways, if you want to watch something insanely over the top and not boring, but also terrible, yeah. Right. Can we restart?
No.
That was the worst.
Let's go. Okay. Let's go. Okay. Where do you want to start? Okay, so Dan, who would you recommend this movie to?
I recommend this movie to anyone who wants to study insanity. I don't know. It's a great movie if you just want to be incredibly entertained for all the wrong reasons.
Okay.
Or right reasons.
Mm-hmm. Could you watch this movie again?
Absolutely.
Okay. That's kind of the litmus test, Would you watch it again?
Yes.
Okay.
I would show it. I need to show it to friends, to many of my friends.
Would you watch it alone again?
Maybe.
Okay.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I would. I don't rewatch movies that often.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, probably.
Okay, great. Okay.
Just because I want to understand it. But I never will. But
this movie is a Lovecraftian horror beyond human understanding. It will drive you mad if you try to. Don't delve too deep into the darkness. Don't look too far into the abyss, Dan, because Maximum Overdrive, the Green Goblin face, the Green Goblin face will look back at you from the abyss.
You'll never find your way out of the sewers.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, Stephen, who would you recommend this movie for?
Who would I recommend this for? Usually I have a pithy comment. I have no idea who to recommend this for. I mean, it's a cult classic, but mostly as a bad movie. I would recommend this movie to Stephen King. Well, not Stephen King aficionados, but movie aficionados who approve movies adapted from Stephen King's work. Because this is the only movie that Stephen King directed. Mm-hmm. He wrote it and directed, and he adapted it from one of his short stories called Trucks, apparently.
Nice. Nice name.
Well, it's to the point.
It's simple but effective.
But I think Maximum Overdrive is clearly the better title.
Absolutely.
Okay, especially because you got that title drop.
Yes. As a kid, I heard the name Maximum Overdrive. I remember hearing the name Maximum Overdrive, and I was like, that sounds really cool.
Oh, and it's one of the best titles of all time. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And what could it be applied to?
Anything.
Yeah. And what did they use it for? A movie about killer trucks. Yeah. Not just trucks, killer trucks.
True. Killer alien trucks.
Well, no, the trucks aren't alien.
Right. Killer possessed trucks.
Yes.
I think.
Yeah, that we think is from a comet, but then we find
this movie was so shitty. This movie was so... Watching this movie, it made me happy because I realized that people still made a living after making a terrible movie like this.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, because it stars, Emilio Estevez after Repo Man.
And after Breakfast Club.
Maybe before St. Elmo's Fire?
I feel like this is afterwards.
No. I can't believe that.
Fact-checking crew.
Yeah.
St. Elmo's Fire. 85.
85. So St. Elmo's Fire was before this. Oh, okay. Well, okay. So The Mighty Ducks.
Yes.
That was definitely a movie Emilio Estevez made after Maximum Overdrive.
So maybe it did kill a career or two.
We'd have to look.
I'm just kidding. I haven't seen.
We'd have to check. But I can't think off the top of my head of any other Emilio Estevez movies during this time. Mm-mm. So, and we're not going to look at IMDb to find anything. Okay, but so Pat Hinkle. There's also Pat Hinkle, who plays Bubba Hendershot at the Dixie Boy.
Bubba Hendershot. No, it's not. It's Bubba Hendershot. I don't know. He's like this, refined.
He's not that. There's nobody who's refined in this movie.
No, but he's got the refined accent. Oh
yeah, he's got that.
He's got the plantation owner accent.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
He's got the Dixie Boy accent.
Yeah, for sure. Well, he famously played in Batman 80. Oh God, what year did that movie come out?
What, the Tim Burton Batman?
Yeah,
the first one.
Yeah.
Who did he play in that one?
So Batman 89. Okay, so let's see.
This is the worst episode.
Yeah, this is gonna be the worst episode. Okay. So Pat Hingle, who famously played in Batman 89 as James Gordon. He played James Gordon in that one.
Okay, I was gonna ask. That makes a lot of sense.
He's played in a ton of other movies, but I don't remember off the top of my head what they are.
This is one of those movies where the whole time I was just imagining what it was like to have been on set.
I know!
That was, I think, one of the biggest, the funnest parts about watching this movie.
Among historians, there's a thing where, if you had a time machine and you could go back to any time, where would you go to see? And I was thinking, yeah, if I had a time machine and I could go to any movie set and just watch what the production would like, it would fucking be this one. Okay, so I think it's now to tell you something that I've been meaning to tell you. And I told you to wait. I wasn't sure when to tell you during the episode, but I think now would be a good time so we can further explore that. Since you brought up that the production is probably a lot more interesting than the movie was. And that is Stephen King. He has admitted that when he was directing this movie, he was, quote unquote, coked out of his mind.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And so, I did just a tad bit of research before recording the episode. And and one of the guys on set, he said that he didn't see, Stephen King doing any coke. But he did say that he was drinking a lot while on set.
Oh gosh.
Like roll call would start at 6 a.m. And he would have a beer. Stephen King would have a beer and by like 8:30 he'd be on his 10th one.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So, of course, very questionable decisions may have been made by Stephen King while under the influence.
I can't imagine. I can't imagine. Because the director's your boss.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Just a drunk, raving, mad, coked out of his mind boss.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, it goes back to that thing, like, who's really in charge of a production? Is it the director or is it the producer? Because I also read that, this was made by De Laurentiis Entertainment Group, mm-hmm. which was a studio led by Dino De Laurentiis. Mm-hmm. And apparently he was on set a lot.
Yeah.
And, he's Italian. So, like, there are translators credited, in this movie. Mm-hmm. And so, like, apparently, I don't know if you noticed, mm-hmm. but Laura Harrington, who played Brett, she has 3 costume changes within the first, 40 minutes of this movie. Did you notice that?
Not necessarily. Vaguely.
Yeah, she's, wearing one outfit, in the car.
Yeah.
And then she winds up at the Dixie Boy gas station. Mm-hmm. And then she has another outfit that makes her look very close to Emilio Estevez, with the jeans and the white shirt. Uh-huh. And then that gets ruined, and then she wears, the pink, the pink, more feminine, clothes.
Yeah.
And apparently the reason why that happened is Dino De Laurentiis was so mad that Laura Harrington showed up in jeans and was just wearing jeans and a white shirt. They were like, put something prettier on, And so that's why I guess they rewrote the scene so that, she got dirty and grubby. And then she had to change into something more
she was like, I don't like him. He touched me and now he's dead. So I don't want his smell on me.
Oh, yeah. Is that what they said in the movie?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So they rewrote it for that just because
to have a costume change
by the producer. So I guess there was a lot of.
That makes sense, though, because this movie does almost feel like an Italian horror movie.
Oh, are you saying that Maximum Overdrive might be a good introduction to Giallo?
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I mean, apparently.
Because it's insane. Literally. This movie has more in common with, Suspiria than, I don't know, any other Hollywood movie.
Well, here's the thing. Apparently I'm wrong about Giallo because I thought, Giallo was just Italian horror. But apparently there's, Italian Giallo movies that aren't horror. At least that's what Reddit told me and berated me for. So I don't know. I can't. I can't.
Why do we even have a podcast?
I know
we're not even experts in anything.
No, we are experts on nothing.
Well, all right,
but that can't stop us from having an opinion.
No, exactly.
And putting this out there for other people to listen to.
Yeah, and mock.
I mean, at least we are more credible at this than a lot of people who have their own podcast or even network TV shows.
Or even people who made Maximum Overdrive.
Fair.
I don't know. I wondered to myself if I could make a better movie than this. And I sincerely hope I could.
So here's the thing. Because I was thinking about this. Okay. But I don't know if we want to get into this early. Because, we're talking about what we could have done with the movie rather than the movie itself. But that's okay. But I was thinking, okay, so how do you do a remake of this movie? So the thing is I think it's easy to do a remake of this movie in the modern era, but it's tougher to do back then. And the reason why you could do one in the modern era is because we have robotic cars now.
Robotic houses, robotic everything.
Yeah. And so I was thinking, okay, well, that'd be a good way to, to remake this movie. Mm-hmm. And then I was thinking about that movie that we saw at the short film festival.
Yes.
The one about the Google house that got infected by a Chinese virus and started killing people. That house started killing people with its automatic doors and stuff, which happened off screen because it was just a short film and they didn't have the budget for it. But anyway.
And that house was the furthest thing from a smart house.
Yeah, there was nothing smart about that house.
No.
But then I was thinking, okay, no. Well, you can't do that. You can't do it about the Chinese virus. Oh, but here's what you could do, okay? You could flip the nationality of it. You can make it where it's a Chinese, Google house, automatic, computerized house in China, and it was an American virus. That fucked everything up. And that way you could actually get money from the People's Republic of China to make that movie because it'd be great propaganda about how terrible the U.S. is. But then I was thinking, no, you can't do that because that implies that the People's Republic of China would be victim to that, and they would never allow that in the first place. So those are my thoughts on the remake.
All right. My thoughts are don't remake this movie. Uh-huh. Let it be what it is because it never made sense in the first place. You can't polish shit.
What I was getting at before.
I was just kidding. This would be an interesting remake.
But you do it with computers instead of what you think is a comet. But
I feel like a remake
turns out to be aliens. But you only find out it's aliens in a blurb at the ending.
I think that the remake would suck though because it would be boring.
Yes.
If it was any good, it wouldn't be good enough to be interesting as this is.
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It would be that whole thing where, you get Jason Statham.
Exactly. Or The Rock.
And The Rock, and, there's a car chase, and they're, on the rooftop of a...
It'd be just another disaster.
It'd be another what?
Disaster movie type.
It'd be like iRobot, but instead of robots, cars.
Can we just talk about how this movie does not make sense? Because what do the aliens even have control over? Because in the beginning, they have control over everything. There's a scene where the kid's biking along after he's just been attacked by a vending machine. Mm-hmm. This movie is so wasteful of so many interesting deaths that it just shows so boring.
Well, one reason for that, though, is that it was the 80s, and they kind of had to be careful about what they actually showed, especially for kids and all that stuff. But like in the history of the Friday the 13th movies, as those horror movies went on, they had great, interesting deaths, but then the film critics started really criticizing the movie studios for showing all these deaths to a crowd of children, basically. So that's why, the deaths aren't as gory or as good or as graphic as they could have been. Although I heard that.
That's not what I mean.
Oh, okay. What do you mean?
I mean, I don't know if I'm saying his name right, but Giancarlo Esposito.
Yeah.
He died by an electric shock. That's it. They could have all died by an electric shock.
That's true. Well, here's a better question.
It was so incredibly uncreative.
Okay, here's the better question about how little sense this movie makes. Uh-huh. Okay, so the military vehicle with the 50 cal?
Yes.
Okay.
I was getting into that. Go ahead.
Number one, how does the gun turn on its own? Mm-hmm. Because there's no machinery connecting it. But number two, how does it reload?
Well, that gun doesn't need to reload. It has this huge...
Well, it does have a belt, but eventually
ammo case on
it can, run out.
Yeah.
So,
true. But my thing about it is, why are the aliens able to control only trucks, but not the cars that the people drive in the beginnings of the movie? Uh-huh. But then it can drive that small car with the gun on it.
Oh, well, they can control cars because, near the end, we saw that woman who crashed. And, with her arm hanging out, and it looked like the window.
And the window had broken her neck or choked her out.
Yeah. So they can control cars.
What, is it just cars that don't have electricity?
No. So the rule is that the aliens can control whichever piece of machinery that they need to at the time so that the plot can go forward.
Yes, but...
And to restrict the characters. That's how that works. Those are the rules.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
That's fine. Uh-huh. That's fine.
Mm-hmm. How much does this bother you?
A lot.
Okay.
Just because it's so lazy. Like I get it. It's you don't want to be bogged down by the rules.
Right.
You just want to have a movie that's entertaining.
Yeah.
And they did that. Uh-huh. But also...
Suspension of disbelief, Daniel. You must suspend your disbelief. You have to imagine that the headlights of these cars are actual eyes for them, and they use them to see, even though we don't actually use headlights to bring in optical information anywhere. That's what you have to suspend your disbelief. you have to suspend your disbelief that a car, which has no brain, knows Morse code so it can communicate and tell all the people at the gas station to fill them up with fuel.
Yeah. Yeah. But I didn't mind that. It's just like the inconsistency. I don't know. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Oh yeah.
This movie was insane. And it was so there's so many things we could talk about it. I feel like we're just kind of stumbling into the middle of talking about it.
Yeah.
But I wanted to point out this movie is like Stephen King parodying himself.
Really?
Like it's so Stephen King, it's funny.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so I've never read any Stephen King stories. And
me neither.
From what I've heard of his stories, I don't think I'd get into them. But I fucking love the adaptations that other filmmakers have done of his movies. Like one of my favorite movies is the Dead Zone.
That's a great one. I love that movie.
Yeah, by David Cronenberg. Yeah, one of my favorite Stephen King adaptations. That's an incredible movie. But Stephen King would never have done that movie like that. And I don't know. I'm probably very, very uninformed since I haven't read any Stephen King stories.
I am too, but I don't care.
But I get the feeling that Stephen King is best when he's adapted by someone else.
Yeah.
Because apparently from the stories, they can get, be pretty fucking crazy.
I've never read any Stephen King.
Mm-hmm.
I've read part of his book about writing for a class. And it was good, I guess. But like, I just know about so many of his works.
Yeah.
That it's very much like American ideals and like, it's just sort of this like American hypocrisy. And then you have this rebellious everyday guy who saves the day because he has to step up. And, it's just like, it's almost like that David Lynch thing of like the underbelly of the American dream of what people think is morally upright and correct. And he, it's that flipping on its head, but it's just like, it's so obnoxious in this movie. It's insane.
You mean the way everybody cusses and calls each other a fuckface and rat turd
and puss sack?
Yeah.
Yes. But it's just...
And
it's
how
just
the
crazy.
holy, the Bible salesman, puts his hands on the woman's thigh and...
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And is the worst character.
Yeah. While the hero is the guy who went to jail and is on parole.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like...
Not very subtle. But he was cooked out of his mind.
He was cooked out of his mind.
Or drunk as hell.
Yes, or both.
Yeah, and I mean, I talk about this lightly, but we should, just to talk quickly, because Stephen King, he's been very open about his problems with addiction and alcoholism. Really comes out in his works, and I'm very glad that he's doing better now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think we can still make light of it.
Can. We absolutely can.
Okay.
But I'm sure it was tough for him.
Yeah.
Anyways, I don't know. That's just like this movie was just so it was so campy.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, I think he has a campy sense of humor. I mean,
okay, so it was intentional.
Let's talk about the campiest thing that happened. It was the part where that guy got hit by the truck, and then the truck backs up, and you see only his shoes are left.
No, that wasn't the campiest part.
That wasn't the campiest part?
No. The campiest part is when the waitress goes after, Big Papa dies or whatever, the Dixie boy dies. She goes, "You can't. We made you. We made you. We made you." And she runs out, and like the most insanely over the top performance. It was gorgeous. It was beautiful. It was stunning. But just to start screaming or like holding bazooka, and then getting shot by a 50 cal.
Wait, no, I think she got shot first, and then the bazooka went off, but I could be wrong.
No, but she's holding a bazooka, I think.
Yeah, she's definitely holding the bazooka.
She's holding a bazooka,
but she didn't aim the bazooka. Like, it just went off. Yeah, no. And hit the Budweiser truck.
No, it hit the truck. Let me get this right.
Okay.
It hit the truck. Oh, frick, come on. You can't. We made you.
Yeah.
Yes, it hit the truck that specifically says, made the American way.
Oh, yeah.
And explodes it.
There's symbolism there. He thought about that shot, man.
Oh, yeah. No, it was beautiful. But just like the insane, like, it's just crazy.
Well, the
it's
thing is, you know, We Made You, that's a reference to the song Who Made Who by AC/DC, which is like the theme song for this movie.
I see.
You know, who made who? We made you. You know, so that song kind of sums up the themes that Stephen King wanted to get across, is that even though we made these machines, they have now rebelled against us. So if you think about it, this movie is like a spiritual precursor to The Matrix. Something else the Wachowskis stole.
There are guns and lots of guns
for The Matrix.
Oh, God.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I just mean that this movie is insanely over the top. And, like, the parts that seem like they should be sort of dramatic.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what is like, they're in the freaking, oh, man, it's supposed to be profound.
Uh-huh.
And Emilio Estevez is, like, going off of, like, he's like, I know why they're here.
Yeah. The comet is a broom.
It's a broom.
And he turns out to be right.
He's right, of course. But, like, come on. It's like, it's the way it's written, it sounds like it's supposed to be, wow. Yeah. This really hard-hitting, you know, beautiful-sounding prose from...
No, he sounds like a madman. He's high on as hell on coke.
Yes. He just sounds like... he just sounds like a washed up stoner or something. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so... No, what he sounds like, it reminded me of like an Ingmar Bergman movie where they go off in these beautiful, you know, monologues about existence and life. And like, that's what he was trying to do. But like, it just went terribly, terribly wrong. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm going to make you watch an Ingmar Bergman movie.
Okay. Yeah. I'm down for it. Okay. I'll have to get my, you know, uppers ready for that.
Your cocaine.
I mean, we had a beer for this one. You know, like this was the first time we had a beer while watching a movie. This was the first time we talked during a movie.
Yes. It made it way more fun talking, though.
Yeah.
I don't think I could have stayed. Okay. It just doesn't.
Yeah. So you know, just so you know, most of the time when we watch a movie, like we're very serious about it. You know, we sit down, we have all the lights off. We focus on the movies. We don't say a word and save everything for the podcast. But that did not happen with this one.
No. I think it was in the first 5 minutes.
Uh-huh.
I'm trying to remember what happened in this movie. Oh, yeah, because the first 5 minutes is the bridge scene.
Yeah, that went on a lot longer than I thought it would.
Which was probably my favorite scene of the movie, or one of them. I don't know. It was great, though.
Yeah, I mean, it sets the tone.
Everything that whole bridge scene, all I thought about was, I'm so glad we have like safety glass.
Well, funny you mentioned that.
Oh no.
Yeah, the cinematographer for this movie was an Italian cinematographer.
Uh-huh.
And he actually lost his eye in this movie.
Are you kidding me?
No.
How? What?
You know the lawnmower scene where the lawnmower chases after the kid?
Yeah.
Or one of the scenes involving the lawnmower.
Mm-hmm.
The special effects and, you know, a whole bunch of other people asked Stephen King if they could remove the blade for safety reasons. And he said, no, just keep it on. And they're like, but we're never going to see the blade. And, you know, for safety reasons, we should take it off. And he was like, no, keep it on. And so when the lawnmower was going, apparently a splinter hit the cinematographer in his shooting eye.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And so he had to go to the hospital and get it removed. And eventually he lost the eye. And he was able to finish this shoot, but then he had to sue. You know, he sued the production for the loss of his eye. He was afraid that he'd never get invited to shoot on other big projects because he had no depth perception anymore. So,
yeah. Holy cow.
Yeah, it's a good thing we have safety glasses.
It's a good thing we have safety glasses and standards of morals now.
Well, here's the thing. Now
we don't.
Now we just need directors who puts the safety of their cast and crew ahead of whatever artistic vision they have for the movie and desire for realism.
No,
which
Steven,
is
stop being lame. Come on. You're so boring. God.
I am boring.
I'm just kidding.
I mean, I am boring, but I'm also safe.
Yes.
Safety first guy. Yeah.
And we don't want people losing eyes.
No, we don't, especially when they're cinematographers.
And actually, this movie didn't look bad for half of it, I think. Part of it. It's probably the half where they had both eyes.
Well, I mean,
I'm just kidding.
You know, I told you my favorite parts, and my favorite parts are the parts, you know, where it's just that kid on the bike going around town. And,
I wonder if that was the original short story, if it was just the kid.
Oh, good point. I don't know. I don't know. But it's like, so here's the thing. It's like, so on those scenes, you know, there's no dialogue or anything. It's all visual information with ACDC playing in the background. And, you know, it really sets a really nice tone of horror and suspense and, you know, thrilling. And so I was thinking, you know, Stephen King, he's a better second unit director than he is, you know, just a director. And I actually looked to see if there was a second unit director. And apparently there's not. There's a first assistant director and a second assistant director, but no second unit director. And I'm just like, wow, you know, imagine an alternate world where Stephen King became a great second unit director in Hollywood. Just, you know, showing horror through visuals and all that.
I mean, those were great scenes, I think. They were really interesting and eerie in a weird way.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, he knows how to set things up and, you know, especially
but they were also ridiculous, too, because a man had been zapped to death by his Walkman on his front porch. There were no rules. It just pissed me off. What? A Walkman kills you, but... It doesn't matter. I'm defeated. This movie is crazy, though.
Yeah, it's very crazy.
I love how just strange and it was. It felt so strange. It was a fever dream.
Yeah.
It was lovely, though. It was an experience.
How would you compare this to George Washington?
How would you compare this? I don't know. I mean, they're both filled with they're both slightly self-indulgent. I'll say that.
Slightly?
Yes,
self-indulgent.
Slightly.
Okay.
This movie was more self-indulgent than George Washington.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
We spent so much time talking about George Washington.
Well, that's the movie I'm comparing all these others to. So,
should we start actually trying to analyze this movie or no?
We have been. I mean,
yeah, true. Okay, I wanted to say one thing though.
Okay.
Gas in this movie is like heroin. It's really interesting.
Really?
They compare it to drugs in a way, in part of it.
Okay.
The main line is a term for shooting heroin into the main line, and I think mainlining it,
Oh.
And that's the gas for the trucks.
Uh-huh.
I don't know, just really interesting, that sort of, I don't know, it just felt so.
Oh yeah,
like the oil.
Yeah, Emilio Estevez, there's that part where they ask, well, why are you going to give them their fuel? And he's like, they're not going to kill me. That'd be like, being an addict who, shoots their dealer.
Exactly.
He says something like that. So yeah, maybe Stephen King was putting more about his addiction into this movie than we thought he was.
Yeah. I think it's also interesting, just the gas and how important gas is to America and the American image is gas. I don't know. It's just really interesting, that sort of.
Well, what other movie that's also based off of a book has that, analogy of how important, fuel is, don't you?
Mad Max, which.
Oh, yeah. I was thinking that. We'll get to that later. But also Dune.
Which Dino De Laurentiis also produced.
And David Lynch directed. Yeah, there you go.
The spice must flow.
Mm-hmm. Have you seen Dune?
Yes.
Okay.
I actually like the old Dune.
I love the old Dune.
I think it's wonderful. I saw the new Dune too. I love that one too.
Okay, here's the thing. I saw the David Lynch's Dune. I saw the Dune miniseries from Sci-Fi.
Haven't seen that one.
I saw the Children of Dune miniseries from Sci-Fi. I read the book Dune and I listened to the audiobook of Dune. And now all of those versions have melded into my head. So I don't know which thing is from which project, I fucking love Dune.
Okay.
I'm not so much of a fan
of Maximum Overdrive.
No. I love Maximum Overdrive. of the new Dune.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, I saw it.
Oh, okay.
But the thing is like, I want somebody who has never read or seen any other version of Dune, who knows nothing about Dune, to watch that movie and then explain the plot to me. Because I think so much of that movie relies on the audience already knowing, what the movie's about and the beats and all that other stuff.
I mean, I went with my dad and my friend, and they didn't know anything about it, and they loved it.
Okay, they loved it. But can they explain it?
Do you need to? If you, I don't know. I can't explain Inland Empire. David Lynch's 3-hour.
But that's not a movie you're supposed to explain. You know, that's what David Lynch does. But what's his face?
Denis Villeneuve.
Yeah, Denis Villeneuve. He tries to do that. You know what I mean?
Fair enough.
So, anyway,
I liked it.
Okay.
I don't think it needs. I think it's the first part of a 3-part thing. So I don't think
at least a 2-part. At least a 2-part. I think they're gonna do the first book. It's gonna be 2 parts, and then they might do adapt the other books in the series.
But I don't think you need. I don't think you can get the whole plot from that first part because you're missing so much of the rest of it.
Oh, you mean because of the second part as well? I mean, even with the first part, even with the first part of the book.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I didn't think that much plot-wise. Not that much happened. Like it's set up. Anyways.
Yeah, this is not the Dune.
Let's get back to Maximum Overdrive.
Maximum Overdrive.
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just thought it was interesting, sort of.
Okay.
Go. What are you saying? I wasn't saying anything.
Are you sure? Are you done saying anything? Are you done saying anything you want to say? Because I have a long thing I want to do.
Yes, do it.
You're absolutely done?
I think so.
Okay. So, so you mentioned how this movie was a lot like Mad Max. Yeah. And so I wrote down all of the other movies that this kind of reminded me of. Because there's a lot. And, I'm not saying this is plagiarizing or other movies plagiarized this movie, but this is just kind of interesting. So, one of the big things,
Are you okay? Steven wants me to read it. The Happening.
Yeah. You've seen that piece of shit movie.
That's one of Sierra's favorite movies.
You love The Happening? I'm sorry you love a piece of shit movie.
Sierra, that should be your pick.
I really want you guys to watch it.
Oh, I'll tear it apart in front of you. I don't mind.
It's totally fine because I know it's a shit movie. Fine.
That's fair. And I love piece of shit movies too. So, that's valid. But yeah, this is reminding me a lot of That Happening where, something that's, inherently not scary and they try to make it scary.
Yeah. I remember hearing, I listened to a podcast episode about Maximum Overdrive. I don't know if this is from that episode or not, but Stephen King, he did it, right? Where he made everyone in America afraid of clowns, practically.
Yeah.
And he just got obsessed with that idea of making everyone in America afraid of something. Yeah. So he tried to make everyone in America afraid of toilets.
Yeah, and that's how he got Dreamcatcher.
He tried to make everyone in America afraid of semi-trucks. Yeah. It's just this. He just seems like such he just got a one-track mind, man. It's very funny.
Well, I mean, it's funny you say that because basically this movie is also kind of like a zombie movie where everybody is stuck in one place.
Yeah.
And then they're surrounded by something mindless coming after them that are too numerous for them to stop, right?
Yeah.
Well, the way that this movie ends is they're able to sneak away from the truck stop. And then they get on a boat, and then, they sail off into the distance.
To an island where there are no machines.
Well, no cars, but yes. Okay, well, that's the Dawn of the Dead remake. Instead of being stuck in a truck stop, they're stuck in a mall. and they have all their zombies, and they figure out a way to escape, and then they go off to that island on their boat. But that movie ends a lot differently. As far as we know, in the Dawn of the Dead remake, aliens are not responsible for what happened.
Oh my gosh. Can we just talk about the end blurb?
We can talk about the end blurb now.
I should look it up because I don't remember the exact words.
Oh,
but it's the laziest way to end a movie. Laziest way to end a movie I've ever seen.
Go on.
I basically was like, okay, so you know that asteroid we talked about?
A comet. It's a comet.
Hey, audience, you remember that comet we talked about in that first minute of the movie? Where we
that was explained in a blurb as well.
Yes. In a green fog around the Earth.
No. There's a tail.
Yeah.
They're caught in the comet's green tail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The green fog around the Earth.
Okay. Light is the same as fog. Okay.
Well, it's vapor, ice vapor, melting stuff.
Okay, that's fair.
And anyways, it's basically saying, hey, you know that green stuff? That was because of aliens.
No. Here's what here's what the blurb says.
Okay.
What happened was the government found.
I just remember part of it. Go ahead.
Okay, so what happened was it just says the government discovered a UFO hiding, behind the comet, and a Russian quote unquote weather satellite shot missiles and lasers at it and destroyed it, and the alien UFO, and that's what made once they did, the machine stop their, revolution against humanity.
And then the last bit of the blurb, which said, and the survivors who went off to the island, they still survived. There's like a pause there. So I don't know exactly know how we worded it, but it's like, and the survivors who escaped, and then it fades in the next part of the text, still survived.
You know what? I was so caught up in the Russian weather satellite with, missiles and lasers shooting the alien UFO hidden behind the comet that I didn't catch that part.
I caught it because it was just the laziest piece of crap ending ever.
Well, I'll just have to watch the movie again.
I guess you will. What do you get? Why do you, okay, those people you saw sailing off? Yeah, they still survived. It's supposed to inspire you and make you feel like this is a worthwhile ending. Also, that sounds like an interesting movie. A Russian satellite that isn't a satellite that blasts.
There is a movie like that. What's it called? Is it called like Colossus or something like that? It has Sean Connery in it.
Ah.
Yeah. There's it's like Armageddon, where there's a huge meteor coming towards Earth, and so now the United States and the Soviet Union has to coordinate their weapon satellites to shoot nukes at it.
Nice.
To stop it before it hits the Earth.
Shoot it.
Yeah, no. It's not Colossus because that's a different movie. That's a movie about an American and Soviet supercomputer that accidentally get networked together. And so they combine their minds and then try to take over the Earth.
Wow.
Yeah, but there's no good print of it out. And I would love... Oh, it's called Colossus the Forbin Project. That's what it's called.
Okay.
And I want to get my hands on that movie so bad. I want to watch it so bad.
Okay.
It's from the 70s. Yeah, but this episode is not about that.
Sounds cool. Sounds crazy.
Yeah. Oh man, I love 70s sci-fi. Okay, the 70s is my favorite time for science fiction because it's so wild. It's so out there. There are no rules for 70s sci-fi. But this is a late 80s movie.
Yes.
A horror movie.
If you can call it that.
Were you scared?
No. Were you scared?
No.
This movie felt more like a comedy or something. It honestly did. There's so much funniness.
Yeah.
And goofiness.
Yeah.
But it was so strange.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
Have you ever seen Creepshow?
I'm too tired to talk about this insane movie. No, I haven't seen Creepshow.
So Creepshow is an anthology movie written by Stephen King, directed by George Romero.
Okay. It's not multiple directors?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I know George Romero helmed it. But yeah, so the reason why it's called Creepshow is because it was to be an homage to the Tales from the Crypt comic book.
Ah.
from EC Comics during the 50s, and the kind of stories that they would do. So that movie is very campy on purpose. So yeah, maybe Stephen King, maybe he does have a very campy sense of humor, especially when it comes to horror.
He must, but it's crazy. This movie is like crazy. I don't know which parts I'm supposed to take seriously and which I'm not. Because even the parts where like Emilio Estevez is trying to be like, emotionally, relating to, the love interest or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just so funny.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's so awkward and weird, and like there's like Sierra was pointing out, there's so many like weird one-liners that are just like they're just so weird.
Okay, so you mentioned his love interest, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so Emilio Estevez plays a man named Bill.
Uh-huh.
His love interest is a woman named Brett.
Mm-hmm.
And then the guy who runs the truck stop is a guy named Bubba. And because of all that, that this script was written before screenwriting software.
Yes.
This was written on a typewriter. Mm-hmm. And that's how you can always tell. Modern movies, every single person, every single character will have a name starting with a different letter from everybody else.
That's so true and hilarious. Gosh. There's just so many. I wish I would have written them down, but there's so many quasi quotes from him that are just like, I don't know.
Oh well, I have this written down. It's not a quote, but it was written on the Happy Toys truck.
Yes,
it says Happy Toys. Here comes another load of joy, and all I could think of was title of your sex tape.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, yeah. The only other quote I have is this is Bubba Hendershot at the. The only other quote I have is this is Bubba Hendershot at the Dixie Boy, because that's all you need to know, man. That's all you need to know.
At the Dixie Boy.
Yeah. Okay. So other movies that this is like. Yeah, I wrote down Road Warrior. Because, the beginning of that movie, there's people drilling and processing petroleum, making gasoline. Mm-hmm. And then you have, what is it? The Smegma Crazies, the Gay Boy Berserkers.
Yes.
Driving all around, terrorizing them to get their gas. Oh, yeah, this is just the same thing.
It literally is the same thing.
So there's that one. It also reminded me a little bit of Steven Spielberg's Duel.
Yeah,
which is, I believe, his first feature film.
Yeah, it was a made-for-TV movie, I think.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, made-for-TV movie. And, that's about a guy who is basically stalked by a big rig, And so it reminded me a lot of that. But it also reminded me of two other works that Stephen King wrote and then were adapted. One was The Raft, which is from Creepshow 2. And I think it's probably the best one of that movie. And what that one's about is that's about a bunch of teenagers who go to a swimming hole, and there's a raft in the middle of it. And so they're stuck on it because they're being stalked by a living puddle of like oil. And so like it wants to eat them.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, that thing where they're stuck and isolated while something is, slowly stalking them and they can't get away.
Yeah.
So, same, kind of plot. But
a lot of his movies.
The Mist,
The Mist, Cujo.
Which I haven't seen The Mist, but I really want to. So, but yeah, Cujo. Yeah, that's another one. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What, didn't he do one where a car is alive and it chases after someone?
That's Christine, but...
it's not a Stephen King?
That was written by Stephen King and directed by John Carpenter, actually.
More cars chasing people.
That one's a little different, though. That's less about the car chasing people and more about the love affair that this bully kid has for his car, and how the car slowly turns him evil.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. What's the line from that movie? There's nothing like the smell of a new car and pussy.
Wow, okay.
That's a line that Stephen King wrote, for sure.
For sure. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's a different kind of movie. We can watch Christine. I love Christine. It has the kid from Back to School with Rodney Dangerfield.
Gotcha.
So,
I did want to talk about this movie as far as what, like, it feels like it's plugged into some sort of collective unconscious of the time. Of
the what?
Like this sort of like paranoia of like, you know, Russian satellites and I mean, it just feels Cold War.
Yeah.
It feels incredibly Cold War. You know, you have this sort of ragtag group of Americans, you know, down on their luck parolees who are college educated, but, you know, just were in the wrong place at the wrong time. And now they need to pick up guns and fight for their freedom to get out of this little thing. And I don't know. You're
right. We can talk about the work reform moment.
Yeah. Work reform. And then also like, he even mentions like the polluting the earth as far as environmental pollution as well.
Well, the part where Bubba tells Bill, hey, you know, you got to work 9 hours, but we're only going to clock you and pay you for 8.
Yes.
And he was like, I'm not going to do that. Screw that. And he's like, well, you see that star? You're a parolee. So, you know, if you don't do what I say, you know, we're going to call the parole board. I'm going to fire you. And then you get the parole board on your ass. And then he goes and, you know, clocks out. And then he sees all those other time cards with that gold star. One of them has 2.
Yes.
Like, God damn, what did he do?
Yes.
So that's the work reform moment in this movie.
I just felt like it was just scraping at things in weird ways. That it was just about things while being completely batshit insane.
Yeah.
And not really, you know, trying to explore them that much.
Well, I mean, you know, this is the thing. This movie is a perfect example of something that I totally believe in, where it's better, like you want to be good.
Yeah.
And it's okay to be bad as long as you're interesting.
Yes, I was thinking about that. I was thinking this movie was awful, but I was not bored.
Yeah.
I wasn't.
Yeah.
It feels like I should have been, just because everything felt so meaningless. And I didn't care about anyone. I didn't care about any of these characters.
Right.
But it was just so crazy to watch.
So are you saying that for a movie that you know is going to be bad, it's better to make it so nothing makes sense than to try to make sense of it?
Yes.
Okay.
Because that's what I was saying. Like, it's movies now, you know, they're even if they're crappy, they're rewritten by screenwriters who know how to make a structurally sound screenplay,
right,
with some sort of, you know, emotional through line, and they try and give it stakes and stuff.
Yeah, save the cat scripts.
Yes, but they're so boring.
Yeah.
And because they try and make it better. They try to
make it better by making it more structurally consistent.
But the movie was never going to be good. So now you just made it like every other movie in existence, which has an emotional through line, but you just did it worse.
Yeah.
And now it's more boring because I have to watch these scenes where people try to be emotional when I don't care about their emotions. I want to see stuff explode and people shoot trucks with bazookas.
And see flying toilet paper.
And get people run over.
Flaming toilet paper.
Yes. And watch people get shot in the fucking head with Coke cans.
And leave the big Coke can.
And watch a 12-year-old get steamrolled.
Yeah, that was the shot that George Romero puked at.
That really.
Yeah. I think they cut it.
We must be so desensitized or something.
Well, no, I think they showed a part where like it was a dummy head and it had like gore in it. So when the steamroll came over the head, it like popped.
Oh.
George Romero puked from that.
Oh my god.
Like, you know, maybe we should cut that part. Like, no, leave that part in.
So yes, I want if I ever make a bad movie, I want it to be bad in a fun way and not,
or at least make it interesting. Like,
yes,
take chances, you know. That explains my Mopix 1 and, well, especially my Mopix 2 movie.
But like, you don't even have to take chances. Just make it weird.
Yeah.
And,
well, I mean, that is making a chance. That is taking a chance, though.
Yeah.
You know?
I guess. But like, I think the thing is, too, I just think that if this movie had an actual plot, it would be a worse movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that's why nowadays we have, as far as mainstream Hollywood movies go, I mean, there are a lot of like sort of on the outskirts movies that are this sort of schlocky weirdness.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I mean, there are a few movies that are, they are Hollywood movies, but they get big name talent, but they don't have the money to pay their usual fee. So what they do is they give them a lot more creative influence. Mm-hmm. And, you know, that can make things a little weird too. And like one movie that does that very well is, what is it? Bad Times at the El Royale. Have you seen that one?
No, you told me about it though.
Oh, we might have to watch that.
I would love to. It sounds really interesting.
It's a very interesting movie. And that's what happened. They couldn't pay the actors their usual fees, so they paid them less, but gave them more creative input. And it's a lot more interesting and I think entertaining because of it. Yeah.
But that was, I guess, the kind of the point I was trying to make was that you know, we just make, Hollywood tends to sterilize things.
Yeah.
By making it Hollywood, by making it sort of conventional.
By trying to appeal to the most amount of people as possible, and thus, you know, taking any nuance or weirdness or interesting things about it, so it could be, you know, just still white bread.
Yes.
Everybody eats white bread, right? I mean, you might like, you know, wheat bread, you might like sourdough, but everybody will have, you know, white bread.
Yeah.
So they make white bread. And that's how we get, you know, Top Gun Maverick, I assume, which is, you know,
nominated for the Academy.
Nominated for Best Picture.
Anyways,
I haven't seen it. Maybe it's not white bread. But
I heard it was good.
I'm fairly certain it's going to be the whitest bread.
People who like, you know, like The Holy Mountain liked that movie, which is weird to me. Like, you know, people who were like into like art movies liked it, which weirded me out. But I still haven't seen it, so I can't even talk about it.
Yeah.
But it just the very concept of it irritated me when I heard about it. So
I will not shut up about it. I will not shut up. I have shut up about Meryl Streep being nominated for Into the Woods, which she should not have been nominated for. There's no fucking way that Meryl Streep in Out of the Woods, is that the name of the movie?
I don't know what you're talking
about. It's
the
musical one with Emily Blunt.
Oh, yeah, I think that's Into the Woods.
Into the Woods? Yeah. I will not shut up about Meryl Streep's Oscar nomination for Into the Woods, which she did not deserve. Am I wrong? Okay, you're right. I'm not wrong.
I'm not wrong.
I'm not wrong. And that's when I realized how bullshit the Academy Awards were. That was that moment, because I saw that movie, and that movie is not good. It's not good. It's not good. And then say, oh, no, what happened was a bunch of old white people, they didn't watch the movie. They just saw that Meryl Streep was up for an award, and they voted for her because she's the best actress, and so therefore she must be worthy of the award, whether she actually was or not. So, you know, fuck everything.
So we should remake Maximum Overdrive.
Yes.
So we can be nominated for Best Picture.
Okay, but should we do it in China or here? But I was thinking, you know, that would be a movie in and of itself, you know, just being two Hollywood screenwriters in China trying to remake the movie for it to be like Chinese propaganda against the United States. That could be a movie in and of itself.
That sounds like a really interesting movie.
So we have like, what, 2-3 movies out of this?
Great, wonderful. They're all going to be...
I'm sure they will. I'll get right on writing them. Mm-hmm. Somebody pay me to write, please.
I don't know what else to talk about this. It's just like it just felt like a wasteland. But it's just so.
But you know, I mean, it's like I think it's like the New Mexico desert. I once drove to Los Angeles, and then I drove. So I had never been, you know, into the American Southwest before. Okay. Mm-hmm. And so I drove all the way through Texas, because I wasn't going to spend the night in Texas, because I knew I was going to get shot. So I drove all day and then into the night into New Mexico. And so I didn't see New Mexico like while I was driving through. Yeah. And I was driving into the mountains, and I could just, you know, feel myself getting higher and higher into the mountains. And so finally I reached the hotel in the middle of the night, and, I went to sleep. And then when I woke up, it was just this beautiful desert, like, just all browns and reds with the greens. And I understand why, turquoise is such a popular, color in New Mexico. And the desert was so beautiful, like absolutely beautiful. So the maximum overdrive, it's like the New Mexican desert. Beautiful wasteland.
Yes. That's a perfect description of it.
It's a beautiful wasteland.
It's a beautiful, beautiful wasteland.
Yeah.
There's so much crazy stuff about it. Like also, Emilio Estevez. Does he act?
I mean, technically,
I don't know. I think he's very natural on screen, though.
Well, the funny thing is apparently Stephen King wanted to cast Bruce Springsteen in that role. Okay. Number one, there's that, as if Bruce Springsteen would be in this movie. But number two, Dino De Laurentiis overruled him and said, no, you're going to get Martin Sheen's son, Emilio Estevez. And that was the moment when Stephen King got disillusioned with the project, apparently.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He didn't get the actor. He was told he wouldn't get the actor that he wanted. Like, they didn't even approach Springsteen.
Oh, dang.
But it's also like, Stephen King, yeah. Bruce Springsteen is totally going to be in this movie. But you know what? Next episode, we're going to watch an Emilio Estevez movie with a big rock star in it.
Oh, snap.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Just to, tease you guys with that.
But this movie's crazy.
Yes, this movie's crazy.
I keep saying that, but I don't know how to...
It feels like it was written and directed by somebody cooked up out of his mind, because it was a movie written and directed by somebody cooked out of his mind.
Yeah. So much of it feels like a student movie. Like, again,
Really?
Just that feeling of like, of what was this like on set? I can't imagine the chaos.
Okay, yeah, the craziness that probably happened on set. Yeah, for sure.
And just like, it just looked so, it just felt such, I can't, articulate it well.
I think you said it quite a bit.
Yeah, but I want to be more specific about it. I can't, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
There were some beautiful shots though in this movie. I do want to say that. And there's like this one specific dolly shot that I love where we just push in on the two gas station attendants the first time we see them. That just reminded me of the the part where the guy, I think he's the dad of the kid, he's fueling up the truck, and then he looks down the barrel of the gas gun, and it shoots him in the eyes, and we hear this like,
that's the first time we hear the sting.
Yeah, the sting, like the psycho. It's like,
not psycho strings,
not psycho. Yeah, quote unquote, not psycho strings. Mm-hmm. It's ACD strings.
Yeah. ACDC doing psycho strings.
Yes. Yeah. And it's supposed to be like scary or something, but he just got squirted in the face with diesel, and he's like squirming on the ground, and it's like, from the music, I can tell that I'm supposed to be like afraid, but it's just like lame.
Yeah, it's hilarious. Mm-hmm.
And then he's like bleeding from his eyes later.
Well, I mean, diesels.
No, absolutely. I wouldn't. It would be terrible for your eyes. No, absolutely. But it's just so funny.
Yeah. Yeah, that part did not convey the horror that it was intended to.
No, not at all. Oh, man. Mm-hmm. Stevie, you talk.
Oh, I'm done. I think we're done. Are we done? Okay. I got nothing more to say. I mean...
Interstellar house cleaners.
Yeah.
You can't. We made you.
The comment is a room. Who made who?
Everything. He's got everything. Now get out of here, Billy. I love the farting scene where the guy's on the toilet and Emilio Estevez is just talking to him, and he looks over and looks down at him nonchalantly while the dude's just dropping deuces.
That's Stephen King for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we gotta watch Creepshow, because there's this great part in Creepshow where Stephen King acts in it. He plays like this hayseed farmer who finds this green comet, and he touches it, and then like this moss grows all over him. So there's a lot of that in that thing. So yeah, we should watch those. We should watch that soon.
Sure.
But we have to finish our Emilio Estevez movie marathon.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Stephen King is in the movie for like in the beginning. He has a cameo.
Yeah. At the ATM machine.
Oh yeah, also they know English. They know English, the aliens.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, do they? I mean,
yeah, they know Morse code.
Oh yeah.
What did it say? It said "fuck you," and then what did the ATM say?
Oh yeah, that's right.
I don't remember.
Oh, you're an asshole.
Yeah, you're an asshole.
And he goes, he goes, hey, this ATM is calling me an asshole.
Oh, wonderful.
Well, I was thinking of part where the trucks are, do the Morse code to tell them to give them the fuel. And they're like, well, we can't give them any fuel. We don't have any power. And then the power turns on. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, wait a minute. Did they hear that and then turn on the power? Or did the power just happen to come on when they said that?
We don't know what the aliens are in and aren't in because the aliens don't have a form. They aren't stuck in the trucks.
You know what? If we do a remake of this, we should do this as a remake from the aliens' point of view.
That would be insane and impossible, but interesting.
It suits it. It suits this movie.
Sure. Mm-hmm. Yes, we'll make it from the perspective of an invisible, omnipresent.
They're not invisible because they get caught. The governments see them, and that's how the Russian weather satellite is able to shoot them down.
Okay, well, they have spirits that possess the trucks.
Well, we don't know how they possess the truck.
We don't know how they can do anything.
Yeah, it could be spirits. Yeah, let's go with that. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's go with magic aliens in a UFO who use their magic to possess these trucks because that's the only way it can make sense.
If it can be in a Walkman, it could have been in a clock and just zapped any of them. It could have been any. This movie is. I'll stop talking about the rules of this movie because it doesn't have any.
No, it does not.
I feel like this was I feel like. I don't know.
But were you entertained?
Oh yes, by the movie, yes.
Okay.
I just hope my blabbering wasn't driving people insane.
Don't worry about it. It's okay. It suits this movie. It suits for this movie. Oh. All right, guys, we gotta go. Come back next episode for a really special treat as we continue our Emilio Estevez movie marathon.
Wait, can I just? There's a shot where they're panning through the restaurant here. And they're all kind of like having community time and just like chilling before they. That was a nice little scene. But there's a part where a guy just says, "I like spoons." And I mean, watching it now, I think he's talking about the card game spoons. But still, it was more fun to imagine it just him just talking about spoons.
I love spoons too. I like soup, so I love spoons. Okay, cool. I think you should wrap.
All right, yeah. Anyways, next time, more Emilio Estevez coming soon.
Yep. Love you guys. Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye now.